We're going to talk about zero and negative exponents. The first thing I want you to look at is that first part on your notes where it says zero exponents. Okay, just a rule. Anything, any number or variable to the zero power is 1. 0 NE, 1. If the negative is not included with the number, this will result in a negative number. Okay, and just to show you this stuff, I want to get your calculator just to show you that your calculator will give you the same answer. Go get those. Okay, so what I want us to look at is we have 7 to the 0 power. How we put this in, we're going to put in a 7. And if we were going to put in squared, the x squared key would work, but we're not using a 2. We need a 0. So this little rooftop key here, you guys see this? Hit that, and that's going to give you a power box. So we're doing 7 to the power of 0. That's going to give us 1. The next one says negative 3, so we're going to put in a negative 3 to the power of 0. This one gave us a negative 1. 14 to the 0, what do you think it's going to be? 1. And negative parentheses, you have to put it in exactly as it's written, negative parentheses 32. Close parentheses to the 0 power, negative 1, and parentheses negative 32. Close parentheses to the 0 power is 1. So do we all have those written down? Okay, so this one was 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1, 1. Okay, what it's talking about, it says if the negative is not included. Okay, things where the negative is not included would be like this negative out here. This is like, this could be negative 1 times 3 to give you negative 3. Do you see what I'm saying? This negative is out in front. Now, for this number, it's included. It's in parentheses. All of that parentheses is going to the 0 power. So anything that's inside those parentheses is going to be 1. This could be 572 to the 0 power. As long as it's in the parentheses, it's going to 0. It could be negative. It could be a fraction. If what's in that parentheses is going to the 0 power, the answer is 1. If the negative is on the outside, or it's not in parentheses, it's going to be negative 1. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Let's go to the next part. All right. 3 cubed. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Right? If we know 2 to the 0 power is what? 1. 2 to the first power, how many 2's do I write? I write 2 once, right? Which is 2. 2 squared would be 2 times 2, which is 2 cubed would be 2 3 times, right? Which is 8. And 2 to the 4th. It's 16, right? This makes sense to everybody? Yes or no? Okay. The next part, 1 to the 6th power, would be what? It's 1 6 times, right? It's 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. That's 6. It's not 6. It's 1 times itself 6 times. Alright. This is one of those little tricks again. Is the negative included with the 6? No, it's not in parentheses. So this is actually a negative 6 times 6. The negative itself is not being squared because it's not included. Okay, so this is going to be a negative 36. Is the negative included here? With the 10? No, so it's negative 10 times 10, which will give us negative 100. Okay, is the negative included with a negative 3? Yes. So this is actually negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. If we have an odd number of negatives, is it going to be positive or negative? Negative. Remember, 2 negatives make a positive, right? So if you have an even number of negatives, is it going to be positive or negative? Positive. If it's an odd number, it's going to be negative. So my answer is going to be a negative, and 3 cubed is what? 27. And when we have numbers, you can always check them in your calculator. Okay, but we're moving towards doing variables. Huh? Because it's negative times negative times negative. This one? This one? Because this negative was inside the parentheses. That means everything that's inside these parentheses is going to be 0 to the 0 power. So it doesn't matter what's in here. It could be negative 4.75 to the 0 power. It's going to be 1. But if it's negative 4.75 to the 0 power, that's going to be negative 1.
So if it's just like 5 to 0 power,
anything to the 0 power is 1. But see, you just have to decide, is the negative included or is it not included? Okay? Here's the next one. We've got 5 cubed is what? 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is?
25.
Times 5 is? 125. Let's not worry about this over here yet. 5 squared is? 5 times 5, which is 5 to the first power. 5, so it's... Okay, now I want us to look at what we're doing. To get from 125 to 25, what could we do? Subtract. So could you do that every time? Subtract 100? Divide, right? If I did 125, divide by 5. That's going to give me 25. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Now look, if we're only doing one less, when we're multiplying one less 5 every time, are we actually dividing by a 5? If we're going up, if we're going 1, 2, 3, we're multiplying by another 5, right? So if we're going down, if I started at the top, I would actually be dividing by 5 every time. Does everybody see that? So the next number, 5 to the 0 power, should be 5 divided by 1 less 5, right? 5 divided by 5 is 1. That's why everything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, does that make sense? So now I'm going to take this number, 1, divide by 5. So 5 to the negative 1. You guys see how I did this? 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1. It's going to be 1/5. Then 1/5 divided by another 5 is going to be 1 over 25. And 1/25, this would actually be a 5. Sorry. So 1, 5 times 5 times 5, it's going to give us 1 over 125. Okay, so this is kind of our introductions to negative exponents. Okay, if we're dividing every time, the difference between 5 to the 1 power and 5 to the negative 1 power, what's the difference? We've learned this word this year. I've got 5 and 1/5. What are these? Reciprocals. Good. If I'm looking at, let me get another color, 5 squared. So I'm looking at 25 and 5 to the negative 2. What is that? They're what? Reciprocals. So the only thing different about negative exponents is that it's just the reciprocal of the original number. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? Okay. So when a number has a negative exponent, you need to flip the term to make the exponent positive. So for example, if I gave you 5 to the negative 3. In math, we don't like negative exponents. We don't want to leave them negative. So if I don't want you to leave this negative, okay, I want you to flip that number. So if I have 5 to the negative 3, that's very close to 5 cubed, right? But this would be the same thing as 1 over 5 cubed. Yes? So this is 1 over 125. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? So if we have negative exponents, we want to move it to the other side of the fraction. We want the reciprocal. If my reciprocal is on the bottom, okay, let's grab another color. Okay, if I have the reciprocal on the bottom, so let's say I had 1 over 5 to the negative 2. The reciprocal of this, right, would be 5 to the positive 2 over 1. Or you don't really have to write the 1, right? So it's just 5 squared, which is 25. You're going to move it to the top or the bottom. So if it's on the bottom, you're going to move it to the top, and you can change the exponent to positive.
So it's always going to be a fraction?
If you're moving negative exponents. That's the only way to make them positive, is to move them to the other side of the fraction. It doesn't necessarily have to move to the bottom, and it doesn't necessarily have to move to the top. If it's on the bottom, to make it positive, you got to move it to the top. If it's on the top and it's negative, you got to move it to the bottom. Does that make sense? Wait, if they're on the top, then you want to move them to the bottom to make them positive. Okay? So we're going to do a couple examples. Okay, these are on the back. Just to go over this, 6 to the 0 power, what's it going to be? 1. Number 2 is a negative included. No, so the answer is going to be negative 1. Number 3, the answer is? Number 4, the answer is? It's positive 1. This negative is included in this number. Everything's going to the 0 power. Number 5, how could I rewrite this? It's on the top already because it's a whole number, right? Under 1, right? So 1 over 6 squared, which is going to be 1 over 36. Good. Is 36 the same thing as 1 over 36? Would you rather have 36 of something or 1/36 of something? Depends on what it is, right? But it's two different numbers, yes? Okay. 1 to the negative 8 power. So 1 over 1 to the 8th. And 1 to the 8th is 1. So my answer is going to be 1. Okay, 7, 10 to the negative 2. What would I do? 1 over 10 squared. Good. So that's going to be 1 over 100. Good. 8's a little tricky. Is the negative included? No. So the negative is going to go out in front. And then how do I fix the 5 to the negative 2? 1 over 5 squared. So this is going to be negative 1 over 25. This negative stands alone. Okay? Number 9, how would I rewrite this? Do what? 8 cubed, right? We'll leave it like that. Okay, number 10, how would I fix this one? This one's a tricky one. Negative 1 over something? 1 over what? We've got to leave this how it is. Negative 3. Change the exponent to positive. The only thing that's changing is the exponent, not the number itself. So really, this one would be like 1 over negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, which we know is 1 over negative 27. Number 11. How would I rewrite that? 1 over negative 7, good, squared. So that's 1 over positive or negative? Positive what? 49, good. 12 didn't copy. Give me a second on that. Alright, so 12, I've got 2/3 to the negative 1. If it's a fraction, what do you think I could do with that fraction? Not times it by 2. what I can do to make this positive is I can flip this fraction. So I can say 3/2. Now it'll be to the positive 1, which is 3/2. Negative 2 to the 0 power. 1. Was the negative included? Yes. Okay, 14, it's to the negative 1. What could I do? Flip it. So I would have 3/1 to the positive 1 now, which is going to be 3. Okay, 15, my answer is? Good. Negative 1. 16, my answer is? Very good. Negative 1. 17. Negative what? Negative anything? There's not a negative 2 here. There's not a number here. It's m, right?
Yeah.
So how would I fix the exponent for m? Same thing I did with the numbers. 1 over, good, m squared. It's actually easier because now I don't have to solve anything, right? How do I fix 18? 1 over b cubed. Okay, number 19, we've got to look at this now. I got 4m to the 0. This is like 4 times m to the 0. So what was 4's exponent? There's not an exponent. What is it? It's 1, right? 4 to the 1 power is 4, right? So this is giving me 4 times, what's m to the 0 power? 1, which is, 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, this is giving me 3 times k to the negative 4. Is 3 okay on the top? Yes. What do I need to do with k? Put it under. So k to the 4th. So this one should be 3 over k to the 4th. There was nothing wrong with the 3. The exponent on the 3 was actually 1, right? That exponent was fine. So we're going to leave it where it's at. It's already on the top. We're going to leave it there. The k's was negative 4, so we're going to move it to the bottom. So now when we have multiple terms, okay, or multiple variables or numbers, we've got to look at each individual one. Was the 3 okay? Yes. Leave it where it's at. Was the k all right? No. We're going to move it to the bottom. All right? Now, for the bottom, 21. I have x to the 10th. Is it all right? Does it have a negative exponent? No. So is it okay? So this one's okay on top. Is the d all right? So where does it need to go? This one needs to go up, right? So now I should have x to the 10th d to the positive 3. And really and truly, I like them in alphabetical order. So you'll see me write it d cubed x to the 10th. That'll be important in the upcoming units.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. That's it. Okay, 22. Is the x all right? No, it's got to go down. Is the y all right? No, it's got to go up. So we're actually going to what? Flip them. So I'll have y to the 5th over x to the 7th. Is the 7 okay? Yes. Is the m okay? Where's it got to go? Up. So I'm going to have number first, coefficient first. So 7. 7's going to go down? You told me 7 was all right.
Yeah.
So 7.
I thought we were flipping it.
It'll be 7m squared.
Why would we do that?
Because the 7 was fine on top, right?
Yeah.
The m was not okay on the bottom, so it came to the top. So now both of them are on the top, so what's the number on the bottom? 1. And number 24, is the k all right? Is the m all right? Yes? Where's it got to go? Up to the top? You're on the top. You don't have a fraction right now. So it's got to go down, right? So we're going to have k squared over m to the 8th.
Well, how do you know k's on the top?
Was there a fraction right now?
Yeah.
Then you know it's a whole number. Whole numbers are always on the top, right? Like if we write the number, if we write 7 as a fraction, that's 7 over 1, right? We know that. So if we don't write it as a fraction, we know that it's automatically on the top. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like m would be the same thing as m over 1. So we don't have to really rewrite that. So we know this was like, all of this right now was over 1, in theory. We just didn't write that. Okay?